right. Good afternoon, everyone. So today I wanted to take some time to make a video for you talking about the other end of solving these rational equations compared to yesterday, right? Yesterday we talked about where there was no solution. Today this video is going to talk about what if we have infinitely, notice the quotation marks around that, infinitely many solutions. So again, I'm going to kind of breeze through the solving part of this because the solving part doesn't change, right? So my step one, factor and state. I don't know why I said factor, so weird. Factor and state your excluded stuff. All right, so for my step one over here, my left side, I don't have to change a single thing. Right now my right side, well, okay, x squared minus 9, I can factor that into x plus 3, x minus 3, right? We color code again, right? So step 2 is multiply. Right, so my step 2, again, I'm going to recopy this so we have a nice, neat thing to work with. X plus 3, x minus 3. Now, obviously, here I can multiply by just that denominator. Hope I don't run out of room. All right, we fit it. It's good. Right, the only unique factors are both the ones that make up the right side denominator. So when I distribute now, right, this 4, well, it loses the x minus 3, but it gains the x plus 3. Right, the 6 loses the x plus 3, but gains the x minus 3. And then obviously on the right side, nothing changes, right? The denominator just cancels out, so I'm left with the numerator. Now if we go to my step 3 now, simplify and solve. Right, so for my step 3, well, and I distribute, and then I distribute 4x plus 12, 6x minus 18, all of a sudden I end up here. Wait a minute. Those two things are exactly the same, are they not? Right, so I could move some stuff around if I wanted to, right? Subtract the 10x's from both sides and get negative 6 equals negative 6. And you're like, oh my goodness, all real numbers. But there's something very important that I forgot to do in my first step. I kind of purposefully forgot to do it, so hopefully all of you at home right now are screaming at the video, right, when I got past step 1 and I didn't state my excluded values. Right, so here I should say x can't be 3 or negative 3. So, and the reason why here infinitely ends up getting put in quotation marks is it's true that there are infinitely many solutions, right? There's an infinite amount of numbers. So here we have more than one solution. It turns out everything works except for these things here that I have to exclude at the beginning because they make my denominator 0. So at the very end here, when I look at my final solution, it's everything but 3 and negative 3. And that's the key as to why I put infinitely in quotation marks, is yes, it's all real numbers. However, those numbers at the beginning that I had to exclude still get excluded from your final answer here. Right, so again, when I go through solving this whole thing, the steps don't change. I know I've said that 100 times throughout all these videos, and I know you're probably angry at me for doing so, but that's fine. Right, the solving process is exactly the same. The difference is when I get to the end, right, and this is a big mistake that people forget, and it's a silly mistake. Yes, the answer is all real numbers. However, I still have to get rid of these two guys right here, or however many values from step 1, right? If I had 3 unique factors, I would be getting rid of 3 numbers at the end. But you need to make sure this stuff that you state that gets excluded comes down to your final answer, because it's every number except for the ones that make your denominator 0. So, again, I hope that was helpful. Please email me or leave a private comment on Google Classroom if you have a question, right? I want to make sure, I know it's hard. Obviously, we're not, seeing each other in person, but I want to make sure that you guys have a good understanding of this stuff because it's going to be important next year, right, when you guys move on to pre-calc. All right? Thanks, guys. See you later.